Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So as a part of this video, I'm going to take a mock interview with one of my subscriber. Her name is Jennifer Banu, having in total of 2 years of experience into software testing. She mailed me that I should conduct her mock interview for the skill manual testing. So let's welcome her. Yeah, I can hear you now. How are you?
Okay. Yeah, fine. What about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm totally good. So which part of India you are located?
In right now, I am in Bangalore.
Okay. And where are you from?
I am from West Bengal, Kolkata.
Okay. That's good. So I have already given an introduction part. Your name is Jennifer Banu, and you have total
Yeah.
of 2 years of experience into software testing, and you want me to conduct your mock interview for manual testing.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
How comfortable are you?
Yeah, comfortable.
Okay, you're okay for this video to go live on my YouTube channel?
Yes, no issue.
Okay. Are you currently working?
Yeah, I am currently working.
Okay, okay, sure. So I would like to know about you something, if you can tell me.
Yeah, my name is Jennifer Banu, and I'm basically from West Bengal, and I have completed my BCA and MCA from Macau University in Kolkata with 82% and 65%. And I right now I am working in Ecobice Technology since 2 year 1 month. So past 2 year 1 month, I have to perform various kind of testing like functional testing, positive negative testing, integration testing, system testing, and etc. And in my company, I am testing Windows-based application and testing the application which is developed in Java, and I also tested web-based application. Sometimes I'm involved in database testing by writing SQL query, and that time I'm using Oracle 10G. So last 2 years I have to write various kind of test cases and requirement traceability matrix, and I have used to lots of conversation with our QA lead, project manager, business analyst, and our QA manager. And I also attend requirement review meeting with directly client. Previously we have using WebEx, but right now we are using Microsoft Team. And my project is basically based on agile methodology. So in daily basis I have attending daily stand-up meeting. So in daily stand-up meeting is nothing but it's only 10 or 15 minutes meeting. So here we all team member discuss what we did yesterday, what we have to do today, and what we have been completed in future. So that's pretty much thing I have to done as a QA engineer till now.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So I was asking if you can tell me something about your likes and dislike. Any likes and dislike?
Yeah, I like to interact new people, and I like to traveling and reading book, and I also love to write like poem. And dislike I hate like lies people, but and those people are very attitude kind of people. I'll just hate them.
Okay. Okay.
That's
I got
thing.
it. I got it. Okay. So I want to know that uh, is software testing is your dream job, or you wanted to become something else and you landed to the software testing job?
No, it's my dream job. I love manual testing. It's
Okay.
easy.
Okay.
So
Sure.
that's why.
And if I have to ask, like, how long you have decided to work in the software testing field, or you have some other plan in future?
I like 1 or 2 years after that I have to shift it in automation.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm
Yeah.
asking, like, till how long you are willing to work as a software tester, or you have any other plan in future? Like after turning 40 years, maybe you are willing to do something else. I'm just trying to know that.
Till now I am not decided anything.
Okay. Okay. So your resume is just right next to me. I will be asking you questions, all the questions from your resume itself. There will be no
Okay.
questions outside your resume. Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can call me Manish throughout the video. That's totally okay.
Okay, Manish.
Okay. I want to know when you go to the office and start your work, like how your day looks like. if I have to ask in a very simple language, how your day looks like, a regular day?
Yeah, when I go, yeah, when I go to the office, that time, in my in time is 9:30, and I'll go to my office and open my laptop, and daily basic I have to check I got a mail or issue something. Then if I got, then I have to resolve it, and then in lunchtime I have to go to lunch, and after that I have to came, and if there is any like test cases writing or traceability matrix, if I have to prepare, then I prepared it, and after that I going to coffee or tea, then came to office and then go back. Came to my home daily
Got it.
basis. But right now we are all in home, so that thing are not done.
Got it, got it, got it. That's a nice answer, but what I'm asking is, in your software testing job, how your day looks like when you go to the office, like what happens first, and then what happens, and then what happens. The meaning is, do you have stand up in the morning?
Yeah, in daily
And
in
then
like
how you choose which task you're picking, how your manager is knowing that which task you're picking, from where are you picking your task, how you do your task. I'm asking that one in brief.
Yeah, in daily in my self introduction, I have to already mention that we are attending daily stand up meeting. So in daily stand up meeting, my manager or TL give us the some tasks, and that tasks we have to complete. They mention that within 1 day or 2 day we have to complete that task, and that tasks and in daily basis we have to done in office day.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I saw your resume, you have written system integration testing, right? I want you to give me an example by taking any website. Let's take example of gmail.com. I want you to tell me a simple scenario which is system integration testing.
Yeah, system integration testing is like in one system to another, means one software to another software or application. We basically check that data flow between them, means data flow in one software to another software, data are flowing one software to another software. We basically check that, and like if I give you the one example like Gmail and Workut, if I if I go to the Workut and in login section, and like username and password you have to put, and in home page in Workut there is a compose mail there, and if I go to the compose mail and two section mention any person valid mail ID, and if I send it go to the and that mail ID should be Gmail mail ID. If I put, then if it is go to the that particular Gmail, then it's then means it or go to Gmail, it's data flow.
Okay.
It's like system integration testing.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I want you to tell me what exactly you mean by agile and scrum. Are both are same or how they are different to each other?
Yeah, agile it's like a methodology, and Scrum is basically a team which is divided into four parts. And in a Scrum, and that is a product owner is there, Scrum manager, Scrum master is there, and Scrum development team there, and Scrum team there. And agile is a process where we can follow that all things.
Okay. See, if anyone is asking you this question, right? So what you can tell,
Okay.
whatever you have said is fine. But what you can tell is your agile is nothing but it is a principle that you need to follow in whenever you are
Yeah.
developing any software. Do you agree with me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just let me know wherever something is not clear to you or you feel that what he is telling is something that you need to be told again. So agile is something, is a principle that you need to follow while developing any software. When you talk about Scrum is nothing but rules that you need to follow when you are following agile methodology. I mean, if anyone
Okay.
is asking you, you can tell this one. In simple words, you
Okay.
have Scrum and Agile. Agile is nothing but it is a principle that you need to follow while developing any new softwares. When you talk about Scrum, see, I have seen like even the people who have 7 to 8 years of experience, they also don't know what is the difference between them. They say that both are same, but both are not same. I have said you about Agile, and Scrum is nothing but it's a rule that you need to follow when you are following Agile methodology. That's it. In simple words,
Okay.
that's it. This is principle, this is rules. I mean, do you agree with me?
Yes,
Okay.
I totally agree with you.
Okay. From how long you are watching my channel?
Last 1.5 month.
Okay. Sure. You see, I'm telling you an example. You have a logout page. When you are clicking on logout button, it is going to the blank page, but your application has logged out. But when you are clicking on logout button, it is going to some blank page. And how you are verifying that you are really logged out or not? Because when you are clicking on back button, that time it is going back to your login page. That means that when you're clicking on logout button, it is redirecting you to some blank page, but it is redirecting to some blank page, but you functionality is working. The meaning is you are logged out, but it is not redirecting you to the correct page. It is redirecting you to some blank page. I want to know the severity and priority of this bug.
It's a critical, means it's a it's a high severity bug. It's a
Okay.
critical or blocker bug.
And what about the priority?
Priority is like when priority is like when we get the bug as soon as possible, we have to fix it.
No, no, I'm asking what will be the priority you will give to this bug?
Okay, high
Okay.
priority bug.
Do you believe that logout functionality is something that you should fix it immediately?
Yeah, obviously, if anyone log in, then it should log out. No,
Okay, but functionality is working fine. But when you are
functionality
logging
is
out,
fine.
it is redirecting to the. So my simple question is, can you assign it to some medium priority, or you have to assign only to high priority?
High priority, because login, if someone log in and if they are not seeing that that particular page are log out, it's showing like blank page, then it means it's a high priority bug.
Yeah, sure, sure. If it is a banking application, then definitely they have to show that. They have to show the correct navigation.
Yeah.
That's fine answer. I want to know your understanding on compatibility testing because as I see your resume, you have mentioned that regarding compatibility. I want to know like what you know about compatibility testing. Something?
Yeah, compatibility testing is like here we basically test the application in different hardware and software. And and compatibility testing we basically done end-to-end testing, means and after system testing means when the product are stable, that time we are doing compatibility testing, like basically we check that particular that application are run in different OS, means operating system, like it's working Windows 10, Windows 7, or like any operating system. Basically we check that in compatibility testing.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how will you decide that tomorrow, if let's say you are working in some new company, there is no one to tell you that uh, which platform you should test your application first. How will you decide that this is the platform on which I should test it first? That means I have given you the application now. I have given you all the platform that you need. How will you
Yeah.
decide which platform you should first test?
Yeah, if it is mobile application, then I have to check the Android version first. Like it's maybe KitKat or it's maybe new version that those are launches recently. I have to test them first. And if it is Windows based, then I have to test is like Windows 10, because Windows 10s are in everywhere is Windows. Basically, um, um, every people are using Windows 10s.
Okay. And if it is a web-based application?
It web-based application is like
Like where you will test it? You will test it in Windows OS, or you are going to test it in Mac OS, or you are going to test in Ubuntu. Like how will you decide which platform you should test it first? Just asking.
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu. Like how are you deciding that you should test first in Ubuntu? I just want to know this.
because Ubuntu is a right now is a everyone are using that Ubuntu. It is a newly launched.
Okay.
I may be wrong. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, see, I will tell you. Whenever any company is developing a new software, let's say tomorrow Jennifer, is launching a new company, and definitely when you are think from this point of view that if tomorrow you are launching some company, let's say the company will work same as Flipkart or Amazon, like you're booking something and something is getting delivered to your home. Now you will definitely do your own analysis to know that what where is your base platform. That means on which platform your customers are more, right? Like when we know that when we are in India and when we are launching any application, any mobile based application, we know that in India Apple users are less but Android users
Yeah.
are more, so we will definitely go for Android. So this is
Android.
something which is like we need to come out to decide which is the base platform where customers are more. So that we can decide it by like we have to do some analysis to know that which is our base platform. And see, I will tell you one more thing. Whenever you are answering this question, no, you have to use a specific term that we need to come out to decide that which is our base platform. Without knowing which
Okay.
is my base platform, you cannot tell that I should test it in Ubuntu, because you might be using Ubuntu because you are a software tester. I might be using Ubuntu because I'm a software tester. But what about the customers? Customers who are going to do a booking, maybe a piece of jacket or maybe shoes, you cannot expect them to use Ubuntu, right? They will be using anything.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
using in your mobile. They will go to the Chrome and without downloading the application, they might go directly to the URL and type www.yourapplicationname.com, and they can order something from there. So when you say which platform you should test it first, so you should know what is the base platform. Once you know what is the base platform, you should start testing from there. And once your base platform is tested, that is the major platform is tested, then you can move out to test your next base platform. Or what you can do is, if your automation scripts are ready, you can test manually in your base platform, and after that you can run your automation script in your other platforms just to make sure that nothing is breaking. If you have tested some application in your Android versions, then and you don't have time to test your maybe your Apple mobile or maybe your Windows mobile, then you can run automation script on those mobile just to see that basic and critical features are working perfectly fine or not. I mean, this is the answer someone will expect you to tell, because compatibility testing is something which will takes a lot of time to do, because we have lot of platforms, lot of softwares environment, lot of hardware environment. Company will expect you to do compatibility testing on your base platform and on another platform. Even though you have not done automation testing till now, you can tell that we will run the automation script in your other platforms just to make sure that you're not missing any platform. So this is the answer
Okay.
someone will expect you to tell. I mean, do you
Okay.
agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I see that you have written that you were involved in writing traceability metrics. I just want to know
Yes.
what was the template that you guys were following in your company?
Yeah. First is in the template. First is requirement, business requirement, then test scenario, then test cases, and then defect. Basic
Okay,
thing we have to follow that.
got it. Can you repeat it once again?
Yeah. Business requirement, and then test scenario, then test cases, and then defect.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. So you are involved in preparing that?
Yeah, sometime, but that is very rare case. If
That is
I
very,
get
very rare case, because you know that traceability matrix you will prepare when a new requirement is coming. Until you are just testing the same thing again and again, requirement
yeah,
traceability matrix has no use. When requirement traceability matrix is coming, when the new requirement is coming, maybe, do you agree with me?
yes,
Because you know that traceability matrix is nothing but mapping of your requirement with the test cases.
yeah.
And traceability matrix you will prepare at the starting, and next time you will prepare when the new requirement is coming. So that's, I totally understood it. So I want to know, so this you're working in, this is your second company or first company?
Yeah, this is my first company.
Okay, got it. I want to understand from you that don't explain me what is SDLC and STLC. I just want to understand in a simple one word sentence, like what is the major difference between SDLC and STLC? Just one line
Yeah.
will be enough.
In SDLC, like a software development life cycle, it's a kind of process where we can develop the software. And STLC is a software test life cycle. It's a process where we can test the software. This is the main difference.
Okay.
Means SDLC, it's a process where we can develop the software, and STLC, it's a process where we test the particular application or software.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Now I'm trying to understand that how far you can think of, because I'm trying to understand in how many ways you can write the test cases. So I'm giving you a scenario. You just tell me the answer. So
Okay.
let's say that I am the HR of some company and I have called you many times to say that your interview is at this time. And you are not willing to give the interview. So I just want to understand that in how many ways you can tell to the HR that I am not interested for the interview. I'm just looking for in how many ways you can think of while writing any test cases.
Okay. First I means that I can just, sorry, can you repeat this question again?
Yeah, sure. So what I'm asking is, if some HR is telling you that your interview at this time and you are not interested, so I'm just asking in how many ways you can tell her that you are not interested for the interview. In short, you should convince your HR in telling that I'm not going to write this interview. So I'm just asking in how many ways or what and all things you can tell her to make sure that
Yeah.
you're not attending the interview.
First I tell them like I am not well,
Okay.
and then second I am tell that I have a lots of work that time, so I can't attend, and that then I have to tell them like um, my family person are like my mom or dad going to be doctor, so I can go with them, and that's thing, and many things are there, but I can't recognize that.
Okay, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Let's suppose that there is a page to do the online payment by credit card. So to book something, let's say you are buying something from the Flipkart.com, and
Okay.
so I want to know while making a payment, you have a credit card option. In how many ways you can write these test cases? In which all test scenarios you can cover?
Yeah. First, I covered like which bank is there in the credit or debit card, which bank should be in present in that option, credit option. Like in credit card, there is mentioned like HDFC, then other bank will be there or not. And then I when I go to the payment option, it should be display on the top or middle, and when I click the debit card or credit card option, it should be visible, means, and the credit card, when you click the credit card at that time, the on another page should be open, and they are mentioned like name and account number, all things are should be there, that is there or not, I have to check. And that's thing.
Okay. No, you can tell multiple scenarios here. Like maybe you are entering your card details and you are entering your CVV detail, but you're not entering OTP and clicking on submit button and checking whether
Okay.
order is getting placed or not. You can check that after entering your card detail, you're entering your CVV detail, but you're not entering you have used credit card or debit card before?
Yes.
Okay,
I have.
so you can enter your card detail, you can enter your CVV number, but you are not entering your expiry date. You are entering OTP also and checking whether order is getting placed or not. Are you able to think what I'm trying to tell? Okay, like
Yes.
that, can you tell me one more scenario?
Yeah. Like I in credit card option, if I like when we order and when we place that when we place that order, and in payment option, if we go to the credit or debit card option, and in credit card option, if I put the can I tell like valid positive valid input and positive
You
negative
can tell me
input, that
anything.
thing?
You can tell me anything.
if I mention in the name, if I mention like in the requirement, if there is a mention only character should be accept, but in name section, if I put a negative value like I put a special character and then number, it should then I log, then I submit, and all account number, then expiry date, I have to mention all the valid input, like all things I have to put in valid way. Then when we click the submit button, it should some error. If it is not showing me some error and it's going to the payment option, means OTP option, then there is a bug. That thing.
Yeah, got it, got it. See, I will tell you something, Banu. Whenever you are a software tester, right? Whenever you are giving
Yeah.
interviews somewhere, what is the main role of software tester? You know, right? Breaking a software. And when you can say that you can break the software, when you can think of multiple scenarios in your mind, and then only you can break the software, right? So I'm just trying to tell you that when anyone is asking you to give scenarios, you have to come up with more scenarios, and you have to
Okay.
speak until the next person is not telling you to stop. I mean, don't take me wrong, this is only for your future interview
Okay.
which
Okay.
you are
No
going to
issue.
give you. See, here you can tell multiple scenarios. Here you can, believe me, you can tell 20 to 30 scenarios here. I will just tell you one or two because that will help even you or to the viewers who are watching this video. See, as I told you, you are going to order your product from credit card, and in credit card there is a limit of certain amount. Maybe my credit card is will allow me to book product of 1 lakh monthly only, and I have not made the payment of those things. You have used credit card before?
Yes,
Okay,
I
so
have.
credit card is something which bank will give you, and they will tell you that you can use monthly 1 lakh rupees, and after 1 month you need to pay all the 1 lakh
Yeah.
rupees. So the scenario is, in your account you have already consumed 1 lakh money, and now you're trying to do maybe you're trying to book something. In that case, bank should not allow you to do the booking. So this is one of the major scenario that you can tell. If you're using debit card, in that case you can add one more scenario that money is not there in your account and you're trying to do the booking. Money is only 1000 and you're trying to book a product of maybe 2000 or 3000. So these all are the valid scenarios. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. In your 2 years of experience, I'm sure that you would have raised bugs and developer would have said that he's not going to fix it. Have you come across that?
Yes.
Okay, like what is your next, like what do you do after that?
Yeah, sometime what happened in my environment, I got a bug, and when I got a bug, I immediately sent that bug to developer team, and sometime they just said that that bug is not reproducible, means in their environment that bug is not replicable, means the developer can't see that bug, and or sometime it happen they want to agree that is a bug, but they just inform us they don't have that much of time, and they don't in the moment they can't fix that bug. After like sometime they fix that bug. So if I got that kind of issue, then if the bug is major and it's harm the customer business or it impact our company names, then I have to mail to a particular developer and my TL, and I just inform to solve that.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. Uh, so what I'm trying to tell you here is, when developer is telling you that the bug you have raised, he's not going to fix it. That means he will be having some valid reason for that, right? Maybe
Yeah.
the bug that you have raised is not proper, or maybe it is not reproducible, or maybe the bug which you have raised is a feature, or maybe the bug which you have raised, you have understood this as a bug, but it is
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
a feature. There is a possibility that you are referring to some old requirement or some different requirement, and there is a possibility that developer is referring the correct requirement. There is a possibility that your developer is referring the wrong requirement. There is a possibility, right? So I was just trying to ask this because you have to tell like that. When any developer is
okay.
telling that, this bug, he's not going to raise it, what he will do. So you have to approach him and tell him that this is the requirement. You have to show him the requirement, and this is the bug which you have raised, and this is the application in which it is not working. So that's the reason it is a bug, and that's the reason developer should fix it. Do you agree?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Don't take me wrong. I'm just trying to help you because that will help you in future.
Okay. No issue.
Don't take me wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Just tell me one thing. Do you think that product managers or what do you call in your company? Product managers or business analyst?
Project manager.
Okay. Do you think that product managers, they help tester in any way in completing their testing?
No.
Okay. Then who provide the requirement?
Yeah, product owner obviously provide the requirement, but if we face any issue, then we can't go to the product owner. That time we're going to senior person or test lead or manager.
I got this question, but see, you know STLC, right? Software test lifecycle.
Yeah.
And if you see a tester job, it's all about what you know in software test lifecycle. And you know that in your software test lifecycle, the first stage itself is requirement understanding.
Requirement.
Right? And you get that from where? You get it from product manager.
Product owner.
Right? So,
Yeah,
so without product manager, you cannot do anything. Product manager is something which is providing the requirement. So, I mean, this was a little tricky question.
Based,
They just asked you. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
So tell me, please tell me.
Yeah, only requirement based. Yeah, product owner is most important. But if you told me like he or she help us, then it's not, because if I face some issue, then I have to go to my TL or senior person, not to product owner. That's why I'm telling.
That's okay, but see, understand in this way. My question was: do you think that product manager helps software testers in any way?
Yeah.
So the answer is yes. And see, one more thing:
yes.
When there is a miscommunication or misunderstanding between developer and tester in understanding the requirement, maybe developer is thinking that while clicking on this button, this should come, and software testers have understood that by clicking on this button, this should work, and both have misunderstood something. Where you guys will go in and decide that
product
is correct. So product manager will help, right? So he is the one who will help you guys, right? So product manager is definitely helping you. Okay, let's move to the next question. I want to know, since you told me that sometime the bug that you have raised is not reproducible in the developer environment, something you said it.
Yeah.
So I just want to know in how many environment you have worked on?
There is basically we use two environment, that is like our QA environment, and after that we use that environment which is similar to production environment, and automation team maybe use some different environment, so I don't know about the automation team. Okay. Basically we are using two environment. One
is testing and the other one is?
Other one is which is similar to production environment.
Got it. That is called as beta environment. Is it? Okay. So who use that environment, which is, you're telling that, which is similar to production environment? Who use it?
Some other person. Like those people are doing like end-to-end testing and like performance testing, compatibility testing, particular that tester.
Okay. In your company, you have separate performance tester, is it?
Yeah.
And in your company, you have separate end-to-end tester, is it?
No, end-to-end tester and end-to-end tester are doing like performance testing and like compatibility testing, system testing they are doing.
Okay, got it. Just tell me one thing, the environment which you are telling that your performance tester will use, that environment is just like production environment, but what he's using, it is just that endpoint or whatever he's using, that is actually only visible to him, not to the end users. Is it so?
Yeah, only visible to him, not end user.
Got it.
After that, when the product is launched to the production, that time end user can see that.
Okay, so they can see the same environment which he was using. Is it so?
Yeah.
Got it. So that is called as beta environment. I mean, in case anyone is asking you, so this is called as beta environment. Just I'm telling you, you were aware of this before?
Yeah, I am aware.
Okay, so beta environment is something which only visible to certain people of certain company. I mean, you are working. If it is that environment is visible to you, that means you are accessing the beta environment. It is same like production environment. The only difference is
Yeah.
end users are not using it. Some person are using it, just to make sure that finally this environment, beta environment, will only go to the production, just to make sure that how our final production environment will look like. That's the reason we have created beta environment. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. Do you deploy builds?
What?
Do you deploy builds?
Bills? No. Till now, not. I'm getting the chance.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. So I just want to know, like, uh, which tool your developer used to give the build. Any idea?
Which tools? Um, don't have any idea.
Got it, got it. So who is using deploy? Who is deploying builds in your company?
Sometime developer, like developer lead, or like some developer or other test engineer or test lead, anyone can.
Okay. See, I will suggest you Banu. I can call you Banu, right?
Yeah,
Don't mind me. Okay. Because Jennifer is a long name, so I just call you Banu. Don't mind
you
me.
can call Jenny also.
Jenny. Okay. Sure, Jenny.
Yeah.
So what I was telling is, see, when I had less than 2 years of experience, right? I told my manager that I have to deploy build into the production. So what I'm trying to tell you here is you have to take responsibilities. Tell to your company. I mean, in case you have not told still, I know that telling will take lot of courage and lot of effort to your senior people that you are going to do the deployment in your company. But believe me, once you do the deployment in the production, right, you will learn lot of things. You will be able to
Okay.
answer lot of things in the interview, and that will definitely will help you only, not to any other person. And believe me, when I was in my first company, right, I had less than 2 years of experience. I was involved in doing production deployment into the production, not only in the production environment, but also in the QA environment, also in the beta environment. Before me, there was no one who was doing this. I was the one who told convinced my seniors that I will do it. So I'm just telling you that you also do that. I'm sure that that will surely help you. See, software testing field is a very narrow field into the IT industry.
Yeah.
Many people do not sustain till 7 years or 8 years. They have to retire themselves, or company will make you to retire yourself. So how to be in the company, you have to take a lot of responsibility. Just telling you, you can think about it. No issue. I want to know, when you raise any bug, right, you are testing something and you got to know that this is the bug that you should raise it. Like, what is something that you check it before raising any bug?
Yeah. Before raising the bug, I have to check like that requirement wise that features are working properly or not, and I check that I can't.
No issue.
First, I check.
Take your time and answer it. No issues. We are not hurrying anywhere.
Okay. Okay. Like when I raise the bug, what means like what things I have to should follow or what?
What is that
Like
thing that you should check it before raising any bug? Just to make sure that
I,
whatever the bug you are raising is not a foolish kind of bug, or it's not something which was a feature, something like that.
okay, then I have to check that is a actual bug or not, and it's not a kind of like features, and that, and I have to check that means bug. What is like
See, no issues. I think I am asking more questions. See, the only thing is, when you are raising any bug, right, you should check it whether.
basically I check that bug is critical or blocker or major or minor bug or not before raising. If I like the bug is like major or minor bug, then if I raise it immediately, then it's not like a good thing. If I got a like critical or minor bug, then I have to raise. And when like on something I got like developer add new features, and that feature might introduce that features might introduce bug in old features, and that bug found by me, then I have to that thing
Yeah,
I
that's fine.
can't.
That's totally fine. But what I was asking is, when you are raising any bug, right, you should make sure that the correct build is deployed. I got to know that you're not doing in this company. I got it. But if someone is asking, you have to tell in this way, because believe me, when you are joining any product-based company in future or any big company, there will be a lot of software testers, and anyone can deploy any build. I mean, there will be not proper way of knowing which build is correctly deployed. And when you are testing something, you need to make sure that the correct build is deployed or not. You need to make sure that your requirement and the you need to follow that this is what's your requirement and this is what your application is behaving. You need to make sure that whatever the bug you are raising is not raised by any other software testers. You need to make sure that before raising, your developer is, I mean, you can also talk to him regarding this is a bug which is existing in the correct build and I'm raising it. If your good terms are there with the developer, or if you guys are nearby sitting, then you can definitely ask him whether this is really a bug or not. You can confirm it. I mean, there can be a reason where you are not sure whether this is really a bug or not. You can ask your product manager to know that this is really a bug or not, and then you can definitely raise it. Whatever you have said is fine, but this is something that you can follow in order to avoid any duplicate kind of bug, in order to avoid any like wrong understanding. You have not understood something and you have raised a bug. So I'm sure that in your 2 years of experience, you might have raised bug and then you might have deleted it, right? Have you come across
Yeah.
that? So why do you do that?
Yes.
Tell me, why do you do that?
uh,
Don't
no
worry.
reasons.
Even believe me, even I do this in my company. That's totally okay. I'm just asking you, like you raise a bug and then you delete it, right? Why do you do that? Tell me.
Yeah, sometime I have to I think that is not a like proper bug, or like if I one kind of certain thing is like if I raise it, and if it's not like a bug, then my TL or manager scroll me. So that's why I raise and I delete it.
Got it. Got it. Nothing to worry. This is what I asked you question. No issue. No issue. So you know VNV model, right? I want to know
Yeah.
what does VNV stand for. That's all.
Yeah, V here first V basically stand for validation, which means review, and second V stand for verification, which means testing.
Got it. Got it. I just want to tell you that VNV is verification and validation. I mean, in the end of the video, you can go and check it. But no issue. People get
Yeah,
confused
I
here.
tell you, no. Very V first V stand for verification, which means review, and second
I
V stand for
I
validation.
guess you said opposite. You said validation and verification.
No,
Okay.
maybe.
If you have said verification and validation, then that's the right answer. No issues. No issue. It
Yeah,
is
I
very
know the
simple.
V and V model, how the V and V model work, and how the developer and tester are working. I know that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So, do you think that test data column should be there in your test case template?
Test data. Yeah.
Can you tell me something about test data? What it is?
Yeah, test data is nothing but it's a kind of data which when I have to test means it is used to execute my test cases. And like in if I give you one example, like in login page there is a username and password field option. So so that time in if requirement there if requirement mention that valid or valid data I have to put, then that time I put the valid data, like data like what we have to put, that thing is like called a test data, to which we
Yeah.
have to execute the test cases.
Yeah. So you think that that column should be there in your test case?
Test case, no.
In your
Test
test
data
case
is not.
template?
Test case template, no. There in test case template is there is like first is the description or action, the action, or then is input, then expected result and actual result, then status, then command.
You
We
said
follow
input,
that.
right? You said me input.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
is
that
in?
is a test data.
Yeah, that is
That
a
is
test
test
data.
data. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay. No issue, no issue, no issue, no issue. Just tell me one thing. Have you ever come across, you are using some website and you have ever come across written that 403?
403.
Yeah.
Yeah, 403 is like it's a um it's a not like it's 400 is a like not authorized something. 401 is like 403. I don't remember. Like it's
Okay.
like mm,
No issue. So
I
400 is not unauthorized. 400 is bad
yeah
request. And 401 is unauthorized. And
yeah
I asked you 403, right? That is forbidden. You have come across that?
yeah forwarding.
Okay.
And 404 is a like error or not find page.
Yeah, not found. That's the right answer. I want to know STLC. Can you explain me that in short?
STLC or SDLC?
ST.
Okay, STLC basically stand for a software test life cycle, and it's a process where we can test the application or software, and it has a several stages. First is system study. So in system study, we basically follow the requirement, and based on the requirement, we have to identify the scenario, and then we write the test plan. Then after test plan, we have to write the test cases, and when we write the test cases, we immediately go to our senior person or test lead to review that test cases, and after that we fix the review, and then we document it again, and then we again we verified that, and after that we stored that test cases in repository, and then we make a traceability matrix, and after that we execute the test cases, then we prepare a defect tracking, and then we prepare test execution report, and last we have to attend retrospect meeting, which is also known as a postmortem or project enclosure meeting.
Okay, that's the
That's
right
all.
answer. That's the right answer. I just want to know, my final question is why this testing is called as black box testing? Why the name is black box?
Yeah, because of we can't see the source code, we can't see the code actually, so that's why it's called black box testing.
Okay.
And here we basically check the functionality against the requirement, so that's why.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's all from this session, Jennifer, Banu.
Okay.
I was really happy with you. Uh, there were few points where I said you that you have to work on, that you can follow it for sure. That is, whenever someone is asking you to tell scenarios based on some cases that they have set it, then you have to speak more. I
Okay.
mean, when someone is asking you that, they have given you some scenarios and they're asking you how many multiple scenarios you can test it, then you should not stop. You should keep on telling, because this is what the job of software tester, right? Like breaking a software,
Yeah.
and you can break the software only if you can think from multiple ways, right? So that's all. Nothing more. From theory point of view, I guess you answered 90 to 92% each and everything. I was quite impressed. Um I felt that you answered me quickly, and I thought I felt that you wanted some more time to answer some places. So my suggestion to you will be like, whenever you are answering something, right, you can take your time, no issues. I'm not running anywhere, or in future also, in if you're giving any interview, you should take your time. I mean, you can take your time. At least you can
If
take
I
your time.
take if I take my time, then maybe they go to the next question, na? So that's why I quickly. What I have to remember, I just
I'm sure
informed
that
you.
in 10 seconds, no one will run away to the next question. 10 seconds, you can definitely take it. I mean, I am sure that it all depends on different type of interviewer. That is for sure. But if someone is really experienced person, then I'm sure that they will really wait for your answer. So my suggestion to you that do not hurry, burry. You can take your time. There is nothing to we think about it. You can take your time and answer. I know that many places you have answered only 20% of what you could have answered. Like maybe you know 100% of it, but you could answer only 20%. See, in software testing, I am the guy who, by taking your interview, I understood each and everything about you. So I understood that you know each and everything, but while answering, I know that somewhere, maybe 2 or 3 questions, you could have answered 100%, but you answered only 30 to 40% of it. It may be because you thought that I should talk fast, or I should reply fast, or I should uh, answer him fast so that he don't go to the next question. I know that that fear will be there when you are giving an interview. Even I will be having when I will be giving interview to my seniors. That is for sure. But that's all. That's all suggestion from my side. Okay. You have any suggestion for me?
Uh, no, you are doing good job.
Okay. Okay. Anything you want to tell
Yeah,
before we close this?
yeah, keep it on and make lots of video. And when you start like SQL and Java mock.
Java is already there on my channel. 27 videos are already uploaded on it. Java playlist. You can go to my channel and go to the playlist option. There you can see Java, play Java tutorials. I have uploaded 27 videos. In case in future you need any help from my side, you can just put out a mail to me and I will definitely reply
Okay.
to you. Uh,
Okay, and my answer is good or bad or what?
as I said, you answered me almost 92%. I was really happy, impressed. Wherever you could not answer or you were lagging, I gave you the suggestion, right? So that's
Yeah.
something you should follow. That's all. Nothing to worry. And my suggestion to you will be, since your experience is 2 years, start moving towards automation. If your company is not giving you a chance to work on it, then I think you can work in your home, in your own system.
Yeah.
You can work on your own, because believe me, you have 2 years of experience now, right? Now when you will searching a job, that time they will be expecting automation. And I mean, manual testing is something that is that will be hard as a skill to get another job, frankly speaking. So you should know automation. I mean, I will suggest you to practice in your home, nothing to worry about.
Okay. Okay.
You can follow my videos, Selenium videos. I have uploaded 11, 12 videos and Core Java 27 videos. I think that will really help you. Or to anyone who has total experience only on manual testing and want to move towards automation. So that's all from this video, Jenny. It was a good talking with you. I wish you a good health and a good life. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Manish. Bye.
Bye.